There. Okay, good. The last review I've decided to label 1977 through 1980. Let me further clarify this again, okay? I'm going to go back a second time and go back to 1977, okay? I'm going to decide how I'm going to label that when I conclude it. In any event, I came back home, fantastic childhood, in November 1977, okay? It's very scary to me at age 17. I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it. I certainly was in a grown-up context. Wayne Cole and Walter Jacobson is still very much relative at age 17. Okay, but that's about to change in the coming up years. Okay, pretty quickly over the next year or two. Okay, see, I'm making a transition from being a junior in high school into what's going to amount to adulthood. So I think I'm going to label this. I'll get to it. When I got home, I went out with my mother, and for the first time in my life, I had something that was considered traumatic happen. I didn't know it initially, but it was a couple of days later when I saw my dad. There was no reason for him to live anymore. It was very, very scary to me. That's why, when they were playing around, okay, just joking around, I let them have it, okay? These guys had bullied me. Now that was dealt with in the most appropriate nature. And what I'm aware of is that was one time. I'm a very stable individual, and I'm fully aware of my psychological makeup. The honest truth is I have no history of personality or disorders. Okay? Very traumatic. Now, I can go for much further in the depth about my dad, okay? I understand he was about to lose everything. There was a change in certified public accounting where something was going on I didn't know anything about. My parents knew about it, but they didn't want to affect me. They were so loving in that respect, so they didn't involve me in it, okay? It was over and done with one time, okay? It was dealt with exactly the way it should have been. Nope. Thoroughly proportional. Yes, I had a traumatic event happen. It's very scary to come home and a father that attempted to commit suicide. But things recover, and I continued on towards adulthood. Okay? That transition, as everybody knows, and that's very personal. Okay? Let me go further now. I became very interested of the social sciences in that respect. And in the coming up years, I did a tremendous amount of research in that field. Okay, very early. That's a pretty early age. And so I began to, do the research up to about a master's level, I would say. And what I honestly have to say is that transition to adulthood is definitely challenging. I can relate that for sure. Okay? For sure. And that passed over pretty quick when I was 17, and I continued on growing. Okay? Graduated high school, and I began to make the transition into adulthood. Okay? Wayne Cole and Walter Jacobson still did have a lot of influence. That's very important to mention that in present-day context. but I'm giving you a complete, no, I'm giving you a complete rundown of my history so you get to know me really well, okay? Now, I was 18 and 19 and 20 and 21. I'm grown up. Nope. I've had, if I have 2 beers in my lifetime, I don't tolerate it. I've never. I don't know. I know most people, and I haven't. If I've never had any dispute. At one time, I could only tolerate 2, and I rejected it. I threw up. So at 21 is your adulthood legally. Let me share with you that I have to say that adulthood, that transition to my adulthood was mildly dysfunctional for a bit of time there. It wasn't initially, okay? That happened only one time. It was traumatic. Sure it was. I was very scared at 17. I was bumped into learning all about the social sciences after that experience, okay? And for the couple of years, there was a transition into adulthood, okay? And that's when I began doing a lot of research into the social science aspects, okay? I'm not going to get into specifics of everything, okay? By the time I was 21, Wayne Cole, great neighbor, I was finding my way into adulthood, you know, and it was looming that my father was about to lose everything. I didn't know anything. My parents were so loving in that respect. Nope, I'm grown up now, okay? But that building on curiosity, growth, maturity, forever. Very fortunate. Thank you very much. I had wonderful, wonderful parents. This is as good as it can get. My father, I would say it became a mildly dysfunctional state by the time I was about 22. And I didn't understand it. So I sought some individual counseling myself, okay? Never suggested. I'm the one who sought an LCSW. That's an individual counselor, an LCSW with a master's. Now, you know, my parents, you know, kicked me out, and yeah, I want to be thoroughly honest, and I always will be. I will always be thoroughly honest, okay? And I decided to seek some individual counseling. It was the later part of age 22, and I began to really understand what was going on, what was behind there. See, we got defense mechanisms. We have the ability, you see, and I have touched upon that a little bit. I have to admit, I want to be thoroughly honest about that. I have experienced where I didn't understand the defense mechanisms completely, but that didn't go on for long. Very quickly, I'm the one who wanted to know what the honest truth was behind that. And so, the truth came out, okay? It was my father. It was my father, okay? I don't fully understand it. I've spoken to my sister, but I do know what I saw. It was very sad. It was very sad, okay? He was about to lose everything. He was petrified that there were changes in his field as far as technology. I didn't know how to react. I got myself out of the situation, and it resolved. Okay? And that is what I can relate about my transition into into adulthood. I'm the one that did everything correct to make sure that there was a full understanding exactly what has happened. I have no history of psychological disorders. I've made mistakes and I've grown, but I did exactly what was necessary. And it was so sad to see that happen. He committed suicide. And I was 24. You know, I grew up pretty early there. And at least half of me will never be again. He was a very loving father, and I fully accept it. He did the very best he could. Okay, I had great parents, and it is just absolutely amazing. And when I learn now, when I understand what I've learned, he is someone that truly just amazing at what he achieved. I don't understand what he personally, and my parents were very good in that respect. There were a couple of symptoms here and there, but for the most part, what I have shared with you is thoroughly honest. I come from the very my childhood, I'm extremely fortunate. And so I do understand the social sciences very well. Yeah, I started learning about that when I was 17. And that never became medical in any manner. Yes, it was, I would have to say, mildly dysfunctional for a bit of time there. My parents knew what was going on. And when my father was about to lose that house, he was scared to death. And I didn't know how to react. I didn't know how to react to him. So, it happened. He found his way out. And that's it. I understand exactly why. I don't understand why he did that. You grow. You face challenges. You pick up the pieces and you continue to grow. This individual I have stayed in touch with, and I highly want to respect him. Okay? His name is Steve. I've been in touch with him a couple of times over the decades. He's in private practice. A wonderful person. And if it ever becomes relative and he's going to give me a hand in the future, the truth will come out. What I understand here is I came to a full understanding. Any area defense mechanism kicked in. And I'm the one. And so thank you very much. Yeah, growing pains, you know, that's okay. And that was in 1984. I grew up early. I've had I've done an extensive amount of research. I most likely know social sciences as well as a master's, coming close to that PhD. Oh, that building on curiosity, growth, and maturity. I understand I'm a most interesting individual. Extremely fortunate. Okay? And I've looked at that very carefully. My father gave me a ton. Listen, how much more time do I have? My father shared with me creating success in a perfectly healthy economy. All success with experience or expertise. And that was about to follow now with my mother. So I'm going to decide now that last review that I just did is going to be 1977 through 1980, and this one is 1981 through 1984, and I'm going to get right up towards present day. Thank you very much. That was many years ago for me, and I have a complete understanding. I completely understand. He was about to lose his house. I understand it now, and all I can say is, I had great parents, regardless. Thank you. Thank you very much for letting me let you know a little bit about me. And I will now get up towards present day because I'm growing up now. I'm grown up. I've lost one half of me, and that's okay. I am fully grown up in that respect. At least half of it. Thank you. Now you have a complete understanding to know me much, much better. And what I want to share with you now, in the next couple of reviews, you're gonna get a lot from. I promise you. This is high-level substance of taking all that experience and truly achieving adulthood. Thank you.